Good Shabbos, everyone. How wonderful it is to be with you all. We begin our service on page 128, Hine Ma Tov. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. We read together on the bottom of page 124 together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn to 120 for our candle lighting blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav metzivanu lehatlik ner Hatlik ner shel Shabbat. For those who are able, we rise on page 123 for our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Orei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav meratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu זיכרון למעשי בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim, please be seated. We read on page 127. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. And we begin our Kabbalat Shabbat on page 130 with Psalm 95. Lechu neranen al Adonai, nariya Adonai, nariya letzur yishenu, nekadma fanav v'toda, b'zmirot nariya lo, ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim, asher beyado mechkerei haaretz v'toafot harim lo. Asher lo hayam v'hu asahu v'yabeshet yadav yatzaru, ki hu Eloheinu v'anachnu hamarito v'tzonei On 138, we have the pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi. Please sing with me. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha tishmi'anu, el hamiyuchad Adonai echad shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nei el-chakim, mekor habracha, merosh mikeret טרם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Please rise as we welcome the Shabbat Queen. בואי ושלום מטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. We read on the bottom of 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. On the opposite page. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה, ואמרו Amen. For those who are able, we rise for our Baruch Hu. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Please be seated. We read in the Hebrew on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom balayla, golel or mipnei choshech vechoshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam ba'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim, on the next page. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu uvkumeinu, nasiach mechukecha, benismach b'divrei Toratecha, ub'mitzvotecha leolam ba'ed, ki heim chayenu be'orech yameinu, ubahem nehgeh yomam balayla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasim imenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto leolam ba'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. We sing our song of freedom and redemption on page 158, Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei belem, Nora tehilot osei bele Adonai meloch leolam ba'ed. Malchutecha ra'u banecha mokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Ze'eli anu ve'amru Adonai meloch leolam ba'ed. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. We read on 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Mehamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Mehamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Mehamideinu shomreinu lechaim, lechaim, lechaim. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. B'Shameru on 162. B'Shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini u'bein bnei Yisrael לעולם יששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. For those who are able, we rise for our tefillah on 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו מאהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. If it is your tradition, please be seated. Read on the top of 173 together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. On the next page. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael תמיד עבודת ישראל. ישראל עמך, אל קרוב לכל קוראיו פני אליו עבדך בכוננו, שפוך רוחך ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו We read together on the top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol ha-shalom. Betom beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private meditation. ratzon imre fi, ihil ratzon imre fi, vehegion libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri vegoali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, be'imeru, be'imeru, Amen. It's at this time that we think of those in our community in need of healing of body or spirit. The congregation especially thinks of Linda Applebaum, Margaret Bell, Chase Callahan, Harold Seitlin, Wes Chapman, Deborah Chargois, Orit Cohen, Edward Goldberg, Jeffrey Goldman, Sandra Goldman, Miriam Goldstein, Fran Curry Harrington, Josie Hatfield, Emily Held, Evelyn Held, Donald Himmel, Corey Kessler, Zane Mondlik, Malka Bat Rachel, Susan Schumann, David Siegel, Leslie Simon, Liz Slive, Christy St. Charles, Don St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, and Edgar Zimmerman. If you are thinking of a loved one and would like to share a name with the community, please feel free to do so. For all those mentioned out loud and all those still in our heart, on 371, we sing Mi Sheberach. Mi Sheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi Sheberach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha La'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We are coming to the end of a summer, another wonderful summer in which Hillel Connections has hosted a bunch of interns in Birmingham trying to attract a young Jewish population, and I'm going to at this time invite up the Hillel Connections interns who are able to make it, which is not very many because of COVID and other circumstances, and Roxanne Trevelut, their wonderful leader.
as Cantor Whitner said, we are low in numbers, but strong and mighty in energy. I have 2 students here. A couple are home with COVID. One finished his internship a week ago and interviewed for a full-time position here in Birmingham. And so he has left because he's done, and another one is out of town. So, but we do have speeches from all of them, so I'm going to let the interns talk about their experience this summer.
I'm going to leave my speech for last, but let's see. So one of our interns this summer was Zach Schneiderman. He was the one whose internship finished up. And his speech is, "Good evening, my name is Zachary Schneiderman, and I am from Johns Creek, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. I am also a rising senior at the University of Georgia studying Finance and Management Information Systems. I would first like to thank the Birmingham Jewish Federation and Foundation, the Nina and Norman Next Generation Fund of the Grafman Endowment, and the Levite Jewish Community Center for helping make the Hillel Connections program possible. I would also like to thank Lane Held for reaching out to me this summer to be a resource for me to reach out to. For those that do not know, I spent the summer working at Regions Bank as part of their finance development program, internship program, where I got to learn a lot about the different parts of the bank, as well as the part in several meaningful projects. I recently applied for their full-time FDP program after graduation, and I hope to accept and come back to Birmingham after graduation. A big part of what has sold me on Birmingham has been this program. Despite having never been to Birmingham, this program made it so that I made friends quickly and gave me a sense of belonging. In particular, I enjoyed the different sports events we went to as a group. Thank you, everyone, and I hope to be back."
All right, I will be reading 2 of the speeches for our friends that have COVID, so I will begin with Alex. This is his speech. "Hello, my name is Alex Bebenek. I am a computer science major at Georgia Tech, and I've been a part of Temple Emanu-El and the Birmingham Jewish community since my family moved here nearly 16 years ago. This summer, I've benefited both professionally and socially from the Hillel Connections program that this community is so generous to support. I worked as a research assistant at the UAB Department of Biostatistics, a position I secured largely through the recommendation of Dr. Gary Cutter, to whom I am extremely grateful. In this position, I learned how to use the R programming language to work with large data sets and generate meaningful summaries and plots, and I gained a great deal of insight into the process of creating a research paper. This experience will be incredibly valuable as I continue to advance my career. Additionally, the bi-weekly dinners with other Jewish interns organized by Hillel Connections were a great experience that I would not have had without the generosity of the Birmingham Jewish community. The guest speakers at Tuesday's dinners were especially helpful, offering advice on topics such as insurance and investment. This advice will be of great service to me in the years after I graduate from college. Finally, I would like to offer my specific thanks to those who contributed most to my wonderful experience this summer. First, a huge thanks to the Birmingham Jewish Federation, the Birmingham Jewish Foundation, the Nina and Norman Next Generation Fund of the Grafman Endowment, and the Levite Jewish Community Center for supporting Hillel Connections. Without their support, Hillel Connections would not have been able to offer myself and my fellow interns the incredible programs and support we benefited from this summer. I would also like to thank Dr. Gary Cutter for recommending me for the research assistant position at UAB, allowing me to have an interesting and educational experience that I will value for the rest of my career. Last but not least, I would like to thank Roxanne for her incredible effort coordinating Hillel Connections and all of its events. She put in hours of her own time to make the program an incredible experience for us interns, and she did it all with a smile and an infectious positive energy. Hillel Connections would not have been the same without her. Again, to all of those who contributed to the Hillel Connections program and my amazing experience this summer, thank you.
So this is for Jack Lazaroff, who is out of town. He is celebrating his birthday with family. Hi, my name is Jack Lazaroff. I am from Memphis, Tennessee, and attend the University of Alabama to study mechanical engineering. I worked at AirTech this summer, which is an HVAC manufacturing representative. This internship was very beneficial to me. I did not know a lot about HVAC, which is a large part of the mechanical engineering market. I now have a decent skill level in identifying and understanding HVAC. I enjoyed looking at blueprints for future buildings to come. It was very interesting to see the plans for the future development of certain areas. I would like to say thanks to the Birmingham Jewish Federation Foundation, the Nina and Norman Next Generation Fund of the Grafman Endowment, and the Levite Jewish Community Center for subsidizing the Hillel Connections program. I would like to thank Roxanne for helping to form this program into the great experience it was. I would also like to thank Ben Rosenbaum for allowing me the opportunity of working at AirTech.
All right, next we have Emily Bebedek's speech, Alex's sister. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Bebedek, and I grew up right here in Birmingham, Alabama. My family has belonged to this temple for as long as I can remember. My brother and I even went to preschool here. But that was a long time ago. I'm currently a rising junior at Wake Forest University, majoring in communication. This summer, I had the unique opportunity of interning at 2 different but equally worthwhile places. Once a week, I worked at CJFS, a familiar but no less impactful organization. There, I had the opportunity to apply my writing and communication skills to produce content for their website. The other days of the week, I worked right here for the Alabama Holocaust Education Center, providing social media and additional marketing content. I've also been helping with the marketing and planning for the annual L'Chaim fundraiser. The Hillel Connections program not only coached us in how to build a successful life as a working professional, but they were also a great way to connect with some amazing people. I'm very grateful that I was able to participate in Hillel Connections this summer, and I'd like to thank the institutions that made it possible: the Birmingham Jewish Federation and Foundation, the Nina and Norman Next Generation Fund of the Grafman Endowment, and the LJCC. I'd also like to thank Elaine Witt, Clay Ratcliffe, Hadass Levine, and Danny Cohen for their personal and professional mentorship. I learned so much this summer, and I'm very grateful for their encouragement and guidance. Thank you so much for listening and supporting us. Shabbat Shalom.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Micah Hodes. I'm actually Micah Hodes. I'm a junior at the University of Alabama from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm studying accounting, which is a decision I made during my internship at Altech. I originally went into this program studying operations management. Accounting was a major I had been considering for about a year, but I was not fully sold. When I came to Altech, they gave me experience in several of their departments, including credit, operations, syndications, and asset management. Day after day, the work I did sold me more and more in accounting, and I finally decided to pull the trigger after catching a major acquisition by one of Altech's publicly traded customers while analyzing the company's balance sheets for the credit department. I'm very grateful to spend my summer with Altech, as I would likely not have had the opportunity to discover the world of accounting had I interned elsewhere. Hillel Connections is a great program. Between Roxanne and the wonderful people in Birmingham's Jewish community, this city is now my #1 choice to move to after I graduate. I learned there's something for everyone here: the city, the suburbs, the big corporations and small businesses, and most of all, the people. Although Hillel Connections and my experience this summer may have sentenced me to potentially a lifetime of sitting in traffic on Highway 280, I think it's worth it. I'd like to thank the Birmingham Jewish Federation and Foundation, the Nina and Norman Next Generation Fund of the Grafman Endowment, and the Levite JCC for supporting Hillel Connections. Thank you to everyone who hosted us this summer, and thank you especially to Julie and Charles Stein for their hospitality. I'm very grateful for this summer, and I hope to return next year to expand Hillel Connections and further develop my career.
You guys should see the font that he's reading off of. It's very tiny. Hello, everyone. My name is actually Sydney Krebs, and I am from the northwest suburbs of Chicago. I'm a rising junior at the University of Alabama studying criminal justice and political science with a minor in women's studies. This summer, I had the amazing opportunity to work with Mr. Richard Jaffe at his law firm in Birmingham. Not only did I get a glimpse into the daily life of being a criminal defense attorney, but I had a hand in cases that actually impacted people's lives. Unlike other industries, there aren't a lot of internships available for undergraduates in pre-law. Usually these internships, also known as clerkships, are reserved for second-year law students. However, Hillel Connections gave me the opportunity to get a head start on clerkship by learning how to do legal discovery and summarize evidence. One of the most notable experiences was working on an appeal for a capital murder case, which I did in the first week of being in the office. Overall, the best part of working with Mr. Jaffe was the relationships that I cultivated with the fellow attorneys and staff. The environment directly juxtaposed the often depressing work. It was lighthearted and playful. I look forward to keeping in touch with the office and will miss it immensely. I am planning on attending different trials in the Tuscaloosa area during the school year, which will be very interesting. I cannot thank Roxanne and Hillel Connections more for this opportunity. This program gave me a taste of adult life and deconstructed my previously held prejudices against the South and what I had imagined would be a small, unconnected Jewish community. Coming from a predominantly Jewish area up north, I really didn't think Jewish people existed in Alabama. Through Hillel Connections, I was welcomed into the supportive and tight-knit community that is the Jewish Birmingham community. Further, I made a lot of new friends that I'm excited to keep in touch with and see on campus over the school year. Perhaps what stuck with me most from this programming was how Judaism looks different for everyone, especially college students. Despite these differences, I can find and develop personal Judaism by engaging in mitzvot and connecting with other Jewish members of the community. Thank you to the Birmingham Jewish Federation and Foundation, the Nina and Norman Next Generation Fund of the Grafman Endowment, and the Levite Jewish Community Center for allowing Hillel Connections to exist and providing me this opportunity. Thank you to the Shevin family for welcoming me to Birmingham and allowing me to join in on different activism and events in the area, like the Anti-Defamation League's Supreme Court review at the JCC. Lastly, thank you to Roxanne, Mike, and all the wonderful people that volunteered to host Shabbat dinners and events. You have truly made an impact on my summer and my future career. Your eagerness to support and help us as we navigated our jobs in Birmingham demonstrates your selflessness and generosity. I hope to be as connected in my community when I am an established adult as you all are. Thank you.
It's hard to follow those speeches up. As you can tell, our students really were shining stars this year. They had outstanding jobs that they navigated and secured on their own merit. And of course, we sometimes helped open the door so they could get that interview, but they really earned the credit. And once they were here, as usual, they just took off and they learned so much. But some of the internships, as we hope, changed their focus or really reinforced what they plan to do. So I want to thank the community for being all in. This year was a little bit different in that I did a sign-up genius, and I asked for people to sign up because I felt like our interns really needed to know that the entire community wanted them here and that it wasn't just a handful of people having the dinners over and over. So I have to really just shout out a few names because these people really volunteered to sponsor a meal, to attend some of the programs that we had, and they took time and energy and money to support this program. So Michael Schneiderman and Elaine Witt, and Evan, their son, Jim and Louise Abrams, Steve Brickman, Charles and Julie Stein, Sherry and Jimmy Krell, Robert and Allison Berman, Lisa and Paul Bebenek, Fran and Lee Godshaw, Sue and Billy Lishkoff, Barbara and Jack Ayland, Meredith and Gary Weintraub, Jan and Russ Blitz, Kenneth and Karen Bluestein, Stephanie Steinmetz, Alex and Colette Grodner, and Kenny and Vicki Grodner. You heard several of the students kind of mention one person in particular or one family. When they come here, we kind of pair them up with a family friend. And so I would like to thank the family friend of Alex Bebenek, were Alex and Colette Grodner. For Emily were Michael Schneiderman and Elaine Witt. Micah, Charles and Julie Stein. For Jack, the Karen and Stephen Kornblum. For Sydney, Joyce and Maury Shevin, and for Zach, Amanda and Lane Held. So these people really kind of just be that TLC for that extra little welcome key that I think really makes the students feel special. I especially want to thank our clergy that participated in coming to meet and talk with some of our students. Cantor Whitner from Temple Emanu-El and Rabbi Hinken from Temple Bethel, to Danny Cohn, who came and spoke just this week. So as you probably know, they have dinners like twice a week, and then we do some programming. Nathan Marcus spoke to the students about insurance, and Frank Siegel again spoke with them about investing and the importance of doing that. Sarah Weinberger and Trey Collat spoke about the transition between being a college student and entering the workforce. And the students were really glued to that. It was a great program. So I want to thank also my committee, who from the very beginning, starting in August or September, helped recruit students and help interview them, and then help me with on-the-ground stuff. They're always supportive. I also want to thank Star and Lisa from Star Bloom and Lisa Besnoy, who work at the Hillel down in Tuscaloosa. And of course my husband Mike, who always is a free word of advice and much needed wisdom when I enter any problem that may be going on. Let's see. This, as I said, this summer I just really want to appreciate how many different people pitched in to help out and make this program a success. I really think that you can tell by the jobs that they had, what quality students we really had. This was above and beyond our best year of having really qualified students. And hopefully we're just going to keep building on that. Now a word for the future. I first of all want to thank some people who made individual private donations, and there is now a fund at the Birmingham Jewish Foundation that you may contribute or send some of your, your donations to if you would like. Rochelle and Michael Coslin, David Reese and Elaine May, Joel and Deborah Goldstein, and Michael Schneiderman and Elaine Witt all had, and Mike and I have made a personal donation to the program. I want to ask for help already for next year. I need help, both connections with different universities. I think you can tell this year that we didn't just get kids from Alabama. We have kids from University of Georgia, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech. I had kids from University of South Carolina and from New York and from Florida. So people are calling, they are learning about our program, and I think we're getting a reputation that we're here, we're serious about what we're doing, and we really want the kids to go back to where they go to school and help recruit for us. I just asked for if you would like to volunteer, either to help me make those connections and also with the connections with industry and employers here in Birmingham. We need really to get these kids really good jobs, and I think our reputation is getting out among the business world also. So thanks again, and thanks for letting me rattle on. Thanks.
Will you rise on page 586 for our Elenu, in which we pray for a better world united under one God. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. We think of those whose yahrzeits fell in the last week. Lydia Amiel, Harold Apolinsky, Ira Beck, Robert B. Berman, Jean Esther Bernstein, Joan Baum Black, Clara Mayer Blank, Helene Bressler, Fanny Brown, Julius Cohen, Maxine Ovson Cohn, Malvern B. Cooper, Bess S. Baimi Cotton, Lillian Estrak, David Feinfeld, Vernon W. Gibson, Alan D. Golden, Gus Goldstein, Carrie Broda Goodman, Isla Gross, Lucian Hagedorn, Leonard Halpern, Cheryl Hannon, Rabbi Bernard Honan, Miriam Cardis, Jack Samuel Kaufman, Samuel Copeland, Robert Lapidus, Samuel S. Levine, Anita Lichter, Sidney Light, Samuel Morse III, Herman Lowe, Dede Lurie, Dolores Lurie, Arlene Colber Meek, Leo Mendel, Ted Newman, Myra Mirsky Otis, Sarah G. Rosenberg, Harry Clark Rosendorf, Eileen Rotman, Helen Newman Routman, Marty Schulman, Becky Seitel, Abraham Silver, William Sklar, Joan Ahrens Sokol, Israel Erdong, Lily Lands Wheel, Sydney Weinstein, Ruth C. Weinstein, and J. M. Ziff. Our heartfelt condolences on the recent passing of Charlotte Goldberg, mother of Tracy Kramer, Patricia Dunning, Mitchell Ives, and John Ives, and grandmother of Natalie Musfer, great-grandmother of Canon, Evan, and Jake Musfer. If you are thinking of a loved one who is not named, please feel free to rise and share a name. We rise as one holy community on page 598 for our mourners' Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, our service on page 625 with Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra להתנסה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להחמירה, ואם לתכלית ולתכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא אלי בחי גואלי, וצור קבלים בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. ידדדי די ידדי ידדדי ידדי ידו אפקיד רוחי בית ישן בעיירה, ואם רוחי גביעתי Adonai limpelo ira. Ya da da ya da ya da ya da 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 ya da da ya da ya da 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 ya da da ya da ya da da ya da 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 ya da 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 da. As some of you have been able to smell, we have challah tonight. Come grab some. Shabbat shalom, everyone.